We've received a number of items of correspondence concerning poaching both in rivers and on land, and the use of firearms on private land. How are offences of this nature prioritised by the police, especially given that in many cases these incidents are occurring in remote rural areas?
Commissioner, we know this is a very big concern to our rural communities in particular and our fishing communities. You will also remember when we were both at the Devon County Show Pass 1, we had a young farmer who was very enthused about the response times of policing in this regard. Poaching is a lovely old-fashioned term for something that is called theft. It is theft, and that's what it is. Just the term poaching comes from acts dating back to the 19th century. It is very important that we combat it. It's important we combat it for three reasons. The first reason is that usually poaching, actually, when it hits the rural community, is serious and organised crime stealing livestock. It's not just wildlife, it's livestock, and the two get confused, and that is the livelihood of our farmers who are the lifeblood of our rural communities. And that is treated very seriously, and in the main we get it right, but it is very difficult. 50, 100 sheep going missing in this area has a devastating effect on a farmer and their families, and we take it incredibly seriously. The second reason why it's important, and you touch on it, is that there is very clear guidance on poaching, as we call game and deer, and we've had prosecutions in this force, and in terms of fishing. But in terms of 4,400 square miles and 500 miles of coastline and without the rivers, this is an area where we need intelligence from the community, and intelligence that's targeted where possible. Which takes me to the third aspect why it's important, is that often people who conduct this are carrying firearms. They certainly are likely to fight before flighting, and therefore anyone who is aware of poaching, we would ask them to phone in information rather than confront it themselves, even if they are the landowner, so that we can respond to that. So in those circumstances, we would want the location, descriptions, what you've seen, where you are, and are you safe? And wherever possible, if it's a live time, we will deploy within our resources. But we have to recognise in our rural communities, our response times are up to 20 minutes, and that's frustrating for the public. But we can always do something after the event, and I would ask the public not to put themselves in harm's way. That's our job. So yes, it's important. It's part of our rural policing, and I'll pass to Paul Davis some of the things that we do. But poaching is quite a quaint term for theft and crime. It is a crime, and serious and organised crime have operated in this force area. We've had some success. There's more we could do.
If I could just add the local perspective, as Devon Commander, I take the rural element of policing Devon very, very seriously, and I've been more vocal than many in saying that as we face reductions in resources across the force area, we must not forget the rural areas of the force, because if we concentrate purely on threat, risk and harm, there are many areas of Devon that we wouldn't police and wouldn't see a police officer. So it's a very serious issue for us. There is a plethora of legislation, most of it several hundred years old, around illegal poaching, but taking the Chief Constable's quite succinct view of it, it is theft within the countryside, and it's theft by people who very often will be engaged in other sorts of criminality. So the more information and the intelligence that we have to act upon, the better. We have, and I will touch on it when I come to my report, a very strong farm watch scheme that's up and running within Mid and East Devon. Our PCSOs are out actively engaging, and our special constabulary actively engaging with farming members of the farming community, attending the cattle market within Barnstable, for example, and sending out crime prevention packs, raising awareness, and educating the farming community as to what they can do with information should they come by that can assist us in providing the best service we can to those rural communities. So a very strong farm watch scheme, and I hope that will grow across more of my area over coming months.